Thank you. Craft. Time back on. That's Craft, big boy.
Welcome back to another podcast of Gus and Gorney, part of the rebrand. It's well and truly been rebranded by now. Angus, how are you?
I'm terrific. Excited to be here. It's been a couple of weeks. Plenty's happened.
Well, we are fortnightly.
Yeah, I think that's something that we want to get out off the top. Is we're tossing up fortnightly versus weekly in terms of podcast frequency. We figure, in season it'll be a bit easy with all the games coming.
We'll get our chief of social media, which is you, to put out a poll on Insta Story and suss out if they want us to go back to weekly.
Easy, yeah.
We might have less content, might go down to shorter time, which Gibson was a big fan of.
And Nana Gibson, don't think we wouldn't hear it from Nana Gibson. She'd be very happy with that.
I can't wait to get Nana Gibson on the show. Yeah, it's a fun fact. Austin Bradkey in the change rooms yesterday.
One of our teammates, number 46, Austin Bradkey, for those who aren't aware.
Yep, thanks for the update. He asked me if Ben Gibson has his own podcast. That's how much because his name's before Lily Mithen's in the podcast, people forget Lily's even involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's easy too when he's just trying to basically steal the reins off her and make it about him. He's got that sort of weaselly sort of attitude, so it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. And then I heard Track say straight after, does anyone actually listen to that show?
Yeah, and we couldn't answer that. Well, we could, one.
I definitely know Nana Gibson does. So if Nana Gibson's, I doubt she's listening to this, so we shouldn't fear retribution. But
well, we're only 1 minute 30 in. She might still be listening.
Because we do drag on.
All right. Well, we dragged on last week. Tom Couch was too good. That's why.
Yeah. You get that sometimes.
We start every week so far of the rebrand with a Brayshaw fitness update.
Yep. Brayshaw fitness update is a good one this week. I did 12Ks in rehab session on Saturday morning.
Like a 12K run?
12K session. So it's a equivalent game load. I was trying very hard to play Friday in the practice games, but was not allowed. So I ticked that session off. And, felt really good. So I'm not too far away, I don't think. I wish I had more solid news, but I'd be speculating, and that's for Benny Gibson. So, I feel good, mate. Timing my run perfectly.
And who else is in there around you?
Joel Smith's out, I think. I don't want to break any news that's false, but I think he's out. Hibbo and Melky both sort of progressing well. Benny Brown was there for a bit. But
talk to me about Madge.
Big Madge is less in a rehab capacity, more in just like I've been retired for 5 months and need to build back up sort of capacity. And he looks pretty good.
He does.
I mean, he's running. I've noticed. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. The cameras at training, all of them seem to be focused on him. We were complaining about Hibbo and I were talking about Skinfold's body composition, and he said, "Boys, I'm in terrible shape," and he's lifted his shirt up. And I've never seen it. It looks like he's been chiseled, but
definitely not Hibbard terrible shape.
No, there's a bit of a difference between him and Hibbo, but no, he's training well, fitting in really well. I don't want to speak on the list management behalf, but he's putting his hand up, so we'll see how he goes.
Let's talk Richmond,
please.
You watched the game. One of the very limited supporters that were allowed to the ground. We're actually talking later on. Our guest is potentially the best on ground from the weekend, which I'm excited to talk to. And it's not Rick Lever.
No, it isn't.
Who was very good. We've banned him from the podcast since episode 1. We got the job done by 2 goals.
Yep.
Was that the margin?
Correct. Maybe give or take a few points.
Down by 20 at one point.
Yeah, I think that's what was encouraging. Was that pretty early on as well? We were down, and I thought we stuck to our guns and didn't waver from our game plan, and came back, and a few Cade Chandler goals probably helped, but it was a really good performance.
We obviously don't want to talk up a practice game, but we just beat the reigning premiers, so buy grand final tickets now.
Yeah, I would have thought that's a safe investment at this point.
Safe investment. It was a pretty clear victory. They did pull a couple of their players in the last 10 minutes.
Someone called Dustin Martin only played
but I felt
half.
We were relatively comfortable by then.
Absolutely. I thought we...
They actually tried to get more fresh legs on to try and run over the top of us. I think that's what they were trying to do. So on to the doggies this week. Monday, Labor Day, public holiday. Fans allowed at the ground.
Are they actually allowed? Is that a thing?
Oh, that could be speculation.
Are we speculating? I've heard that they're allowed for round 1. I'm not sure about...
I think they are.
Well, wowee.
Will you? And you're a chance to be out there, so that's why the fans are coming. Which
Well,
is
I'm
exciting.
gonna have to work my way through the strength and conditioning department. Hopefully, tick a few boxes there, but we'll see. Maybe some news on that later.
One thing that did happen on the weekend, quite sadly, in the second game, so the VFL came in and played the second out of the 7 quarters. We played 4, VFL played 3. And one of our good friends of the podcast, Aaron Nitschke, has done his 3rd ACL in 3 years.
Yeah, that was a tough day for everyone. It was so innocuous, and he came in and they weren't 100% sure, and I certainly felt hopeful. He got a knee graft from his knee, and that felt a bit sore, and I felt like maybe it would have been something wrong with that, but no. Unfortunately, for the young fella, I think he's back in South Australia now, figuring out what he's going to do and the next steps moving forward, and spending some time with his family. But yeah, it's a terrible news. Certainly an unfair game at times.
The main thing once you get on an AFL list, or the next main thing, is to try and validate yourself as an AFL player, and he hasn't unfortunately been able to do that. Has at training, so maybe a couple of people who've trained with him have a rough idea of how he goes, and I think he goes all right. But
Well, he was doing, I mean, it's academic now, but he was getting a lot of the ball in the practice game and looked really comfortable. So, I think he'd be obviously super upset, but couldn't pick a better bloke. His character, I'm sure he'll get through it. Just another challenge that he'll power through, and hopefully we get him back up and going. He's 12 months ACL. It's a long-term outlook, but we've got a long year left, and as I said, he's the sort of bloke who'll really tick all the boxes. So
beautiful. Yesterday we had the membership telethon,
which is great fun.
Each player called 50 people.
We did.
In about an hour, so we tried to speed dial them through. Every now and then you get a 50-year supporter who wants to talk about the 1974 season. And that can drag for about 10 minutes, and it puts you behind the 8 ball.
More often than not, you get, because you put your phone on private, people see a private number and they just don't answer.
I haven't answered a no-caller ID for 10 years.
Ever. And, I was leaving messages. I heard you leave a private call, go through to the keeper. You were saying something along the lines of, this is one that you really wanted to have picked up, and that's probably fair. But I would say half the people just didn't even answer mine.
I overheard Clayton Oliver was next to me, and I overheard him answering a question, and it went something like this. Yeah, I've been working on my kicking. I've been trying to get it inside 50 a little bit better. And then he paused for a little bit. I'm like, oh, good, that guy's that next question. Then he goes, yeah, Choco's got me like 2-3 times a week doing kicking training, and so whoever this supporter was really trying to make sure Clayton knew that his kicking was a little bit off.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that. I did have a few people. I talked to a few kids.
Yep.
And then there was one of them. I talked to someone's kids only for them not to sign back up, so that hurt. But it was good fun. I used you a fair bit. I said Gorney sitting there, and to be fair, you were sitting next to me, but sort of peer pressuring.
Had a couple of Gus and Gorney fans we got a hold of.
Well, it's funny that some people say we drag on. Some people use their grandmothers as weapons to sort of try and bring us down. But a lot of people, it seems love what we do. So
Not one person mentioned Ben and Lily.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. Anyway,
we digress.
shall we? Cozzy over in South Australia, still working hard. Is he back? Do you know the date he's back? 6th of March?
The day before the doggies.
Yeah, okay.
Run straight into a captain's run, and then who knows who plays. But he's been doing
Yeah, he's been working
quite
hard.
funnily.
Sure.
We're happy with that?
Mate, I'm not bringing you down.
Okay.
I'm building you up.
Every morning we get a WhatsApp message from Cozzy, and he's doing an F45 session.
So he'll be fit as a fiddle by the time he's
Is
back.
F45 footy fit?
He's actually got...
He's probably fitter than us.
Yeah, well, we'll find out pretty sure when he gets back. There's no way to hide on a footy field, so he'll, as you said, straight into it, and he's doing
There
well.
might not be a spot for him after the BOG guest speaker.
Well, you never know.
okay.
I'm not on the selection
Don't want to step on
committee.
that committee either. You're trying to get on a few committees.
I know.
Last thing, did you want to speak about
Jess's 30th.
Jess's 30th?
Yeah, friend of the podcast.
Friend of the podcast,
Wife
Jess.
of your good self.
Yep. You wanted to boycott the party?
Well, I did. I was certainly thinking about it. It was funny when you get up on Saturday morning at 6 a.m., slave away on the track, 12 Ks, lift weights, come back, sleep for 3 hours. Sort of look at yourself in the mirror about 4 in the afternoon and ask what's going on for the rest of the evening. Sure, I'm staying at home and doing nothing crossed my mind.
Yep.
But as you are well aware, I bucked up and
we caught
got
up
out
with
there.
a great friend of the podcast.
Porterhouse, who I don't think ever answered one of our calls, but
No, we should
something
try
we could go
again.
back. Yeah, we could. I don't think he'll answer now. It's a bit early, but yeah, made it out. Went to the great friend of the podcast, the Max Jones.
Max Jones goes well and truly
Max Jones
dead.
goes.
Yeah.
The East End Wine Bar.
East End Wine Bar.
Friend of ours.
Camwell Road.
I went on a bit of a journey there, which was brilliant, and got home, had a good sleep, and I'm very glad that I went. What'd
Yep.
you get her? The 30th?
I
30.
I put in some money towards an eternity ring, which is like the third ring on your wedding finger.
And you just didn't see fit to buy that one outright, or
Well, there was some money elsewhere from other people, so it's all sort of combined.
Understood.
Combined present. I got her a Tats Lotto ticket, which is the Powerball Thursday, so it might not be here Friday.
Jeez, if that's the case.
Yeah.
And they say no more. That's all right.
So if I'm not here Friday, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
Happy birthday, Jess.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jess.
Lastly, we need to do our Ed Langdon
Yeah. Positive Lingers segment.
positive lingers before we go to our guests. Let's go to the jingle.
Okay. It's it.
Oh, sorry, we felt like someone was playing guitar in
We're
the
a
background.
no-cut podcast, so this will be very weird.
Anyway,
Okay. It's Eddie Langdon's
yeah, segment.
Positive Lingers now. We should, that's essentially Positive Lingers, not Eddie Langdon's segment anymore. But a friend of mine and friend of ours, Aaron Vanderberg, went down to Lawn for the weekend.
Not a friend of the podcast though.
Absolutely. He's a stout enemy of the podcast, yeah. He's on the naughty list. So he's gone to Lawn. And for those who've been to Lawn, there's a little bridge when you cross over. And my mail is that he's crossed the bridge, entered Lawn territory, and there's been a welcome party from Ed Langdon. A very reclusive man, Fitzroy native, has never welcomed anyone into Fitzroy, but took Vanders in, showed him around Lawn. As the king of Lawn, this is where you should go, this is where you shouldn't go, these are the good pubs, this is where you go to dinner. Was very hospitable, and that's a step in the right direction from Linger. So I think we're going to try and get some people up to Fitzroy and see if he'll reciprocate up there. But it's I think a positive step.
Now we just need him to branch out from Vandenberg.
Well, that's the key. At the we had a family function Friday night, and Vanders has got a new girlfriend. It's her debut event, so she's a bit nervous. Doesn't really know many people. They walk in together. Hi everyone, this is Millie. Nice to meet you, Millie. This is everyone, and then he split and then gone and he and Lingers have just sat down in the corner for the better part
Vandenberg
of.
would not have been happy with the
much
mentioned
of
first name basis of the new girlfriend on the podcast.
You know what?
as well.
You know what? Vanders. Don't care.
Do you, just before we go to our guests, great touch on the Ed Langdon segment.
Yeah,
Did
we
you
love-
just get that text message?
Is it from Oscar McDonald?
Oscar McDonald must have heard us. He just sends a text to me and Angus and I. Is that podcast still going?
It's actually me and Angus. You were right the first time.
Angus and I. It's not Angus and I?
Nah, it's me and Angus. If has Oscar sent a text to me,
Yeah.
then you've sent a text to me and Angus. If it's I got a text from Oscar, Angus and I got a text from Oscar. That's just English 101.
So Angus and me got a...
No, Angus and I got a... Porterhouse has sent us a text. You know what I think we should do is let him hang out to dry for a little bit, as he's done to us for a few times. Or should we strike while the iron's hot?
Oh, I kind of want to call him, but we'll
digress.
Okay. Now, this guy is going to do something for us later in the show, but first we're going to talk to him because he's on fire at the moment. We welcome our great mate and my player sponsor, Cade Chandler. Cade, welcome.
Thanks, Spons. Thanks, Gus.
Is there a coincidence that you've sponsored what can only be described as the up-and-comer to watch probably of our entire team?
Well, the last 2 years I've sponsored Corey Wagner, and I thought he was potentially going to be that next up-and-coming star, and now, bless his soul, he's on to Port Melbourne, but I don't think that's going to happen with the number 37 over here.
Well, maybe I recall something along the lines of, I didn't know there was a heap of other people I could have sponsored, and if so, I would have. Is that the fuel you've used to really propel this early
can I
season?
just touch on that, Gus?
Sure, please.
Max, I'm glad we're finally back on talking terms. We had a dark week there for a little while, but we talked about it, and we're back on track, which is nice.
I got set up by Ben Gibson there.
No surprises there. No surprises.
Now, you played your first, was that your first practice game for Melbourne? So your first practice game and your second game in a Melbourne jumper. from that Sydney game where you bloody broke your hand tackling too much. How'd you go? How'd you find the Tigers?
Yeah, it was unbelievable to go up against the reigning premiers. It was. I was really nervous, to be honest, because it was my first game in 500 and something days. A few broken hands in there, so I was just happy to be back out there playing with you boys and finally out there healthy and had a decent game, which was nice.
How many did you kick?
Got hold of 3.
3.
Did he ever?
God hold. It's a great
The
way to
third,
say it.
my favourite, the third
Yeah.
was a, I don't know, you must have been feeling so good because Lingers has hit you in the pocket and you've had a whole runway of space. You could have taken a bounce and run it in, but you've just hit the check side.
He
and-
ran closer to the boundary.
Yeah,
He
I
could have
think
come
you
out.
increased the difficulty. And then on the other side of the ground, I heard the celebration. I was loving it. And I'm sure it's the performance is no small part of a result of your work ethic over the preseason. So for those who don't know, Cade was calling or texting or getting in contact with Burjo, our guy, and saying, I'm doing extra sessions. And you can either get involved and make sure they're, the stuff you want me to do, or I'm just going to do them anyway. So you want to talk us through that mindset and what what was driving you behind all that?
Great question, Angus.
Thanks, Max.
I think when I come back pre-Christmas, I wasn't really sure where I was at, and that uncertainty kind of, it kind of flicked a switch in my head. I was like, well, if I don't know where I'm at, then I'm obviously not fit enough. So, I sent Berger a text over the break and I said, look, mate, I'm not happy with where I'm at personally. And I'm fighting with blokes who play the same position who are just super fit, like Alex Neil-Bull and Charlie Spargo. So I thought I need to get up on their level. So I wanted to do some extra sessions and just give myself the best chance to have a really solid pre-season and play a few games this year.
Live with Harry Petty.
Yep,
Both single.
both single.
Both have thought about going on Farmer Wants a Wife next series. Is that correct?
That is, that could be a viable option at this stage.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
100%.
Can you imagine him on Farmer Wants a Wife?
You know what I can imagine, I hate this sort of television, so I haven't actually seen. But was there like a brother and a brother? Were there two sisters that went on like Bachelorette or something? And the two sisters going, I could see you and Petty very easily going on a duo farm and what Max going, you need to cut this smut and I won't have you drag our podcast into the mud. You need to switch back on right now.
Penong, Sejuna or Chara? Which one do you belong to?
I live in Chara. I played football for Penong, but I went to school in Sejuna.
And where's Petty?
Petty's just down the road in Woodner.
Yeah, which is more Sejuna way.
Yeah, it's close to Adelaide. It's about 3 hours.
So
away.
Max has gone on Google Maps, for those who don't know, and had a look around, and you'd have no idea where Sejuna is until you looked about it.
Sejuna is in the Great Australian Bight.
That is true.
Well, yeah, because I just said you've looked at maps. No one be fooled. Max Gawn isn't like a geography whiz. He's just well prepared.
I am a geography whiz.
Last town with a shot before the Nullarbor Plains.
God's country.
God's country.
One more, just quickly. Great part of the world, is that what you said?
Great part of it.
Is it actually?
It is, yeah. You'll have to come over one day, Max.
I've been wanting to come over, and we've been talking a lot.
We have.
Now, Cade's a big hunter, and
Nice.
I asked him yesterday how many badgers he reckons he has, like how many animals has he hunted?
Badgers.
Yeah, like how many,
Fox. I would say fox.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I'm a hunter.
Get ready for this one.
10.
Camel.
Camel. Easy kills, camel. I probably shouldn't say that out loud. I can't imagine
Had a
them.
few in your
How
day,
many
have
times
you?
have you taken down?
They seem pretty, big
Yeah.
as far as targets go.
Before, am I allowed to say you hunted a camel? You're allowed to.
Yeah. They were introduced.
Ask that now, Max.
Which one am I not allowed to say? I'm not allowed to talk about that the last Tasmanian tiger that you killed.
Yeah. Or that koala, apparently. Yeah.
Platypuses. We can't talk about that. Platypi, rather. Sorry.
But he's a big hunter. He loves snakes. So this is the fun thing about, we were talking snakes in the hub. And the python in the tree, and I walked past, and I'm like, I'm not going that way. I'm going to change my route because there's a python in that tree. And Cade goes, it's just a tree python. You're right, mate. They're harmless.
Yeah, and I think that's a prevailing attitude in the country.
Well, let's just get one thing right. I don't like snakes, but I've just grown up with them, so it's just, yeah.
Are you a little bit scared of like your tigers and your browns, the ones that can kill you?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give you a fun.
But if you did see a python, were you like,
Yeah, it's not going to kill you, so it's all right.
Yeah, right. See, I couldn't do that.
Well, the snakes are more scared of you than you are of them. David Attenborough told me that. And you just have to have the right attitude and then you won't get killed.
Talk to me, acres.
Touch under 30,000.
About 29,999 acres.
Yeah, close, but not. We're planning on buying some more, which would be nice. Yeah, I got 3 brothers, so Dad's trying to make it big enough. So if any of us want to go farming, then there's enough for us.
It's not big enough already at 30,000 for the...
there's probably big enough for 2 or 3 at the moment, but yeah.
What's 30,000 acres in terms of kilometres long?
Kilometres squared.
No, I don't want kilometres squared. I just want from the front gate to the back gate. How many kilometres is that?
Probably 20.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Big.
you own from like Melbourne to Brighton.
Nah, further than that, I reckon. Like down the sandy Black Rock areas.
Yeah, probably.
Who mows the lawn?
The sheep.
The sheep, mate. Come on. The sheep eat it.
He, Cade actually last time, actually not last time, he was poor last time, 2 years ago, brought back some meat for me. What kind of meat was it?
It was mutton, so
Which is apparently some kind of
it's a mature sheep, basically.
mature sheep.
That's sheep meat.
Yeah. A couple of loin chops. They were beautiful, and I've had 4-quarter chops every day since.
Wow. Every day. That's brilliant. That's 700 days of quarter.
I don't know why I said that.
I'm not sure Beck would be happy with that.
Oh, I don't know. What's wrong with mutton? Nothing. Exactly.
Nothing
Let's
in
all
my
eat
book.
mutton.
Nothing
And
Not as good as like a young sheep, though.
Oh, each to their own.
each their own, Max.
One day I saw a fox. So I'm guessing you see foxes a fair bit.
Regularly, yeah.
And you've never killed one on your property, have you?
Never killed a fox.
No, off your property. Were you allowed to kill them?
On someone else's property.
This is a terrible
Probably,
question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What's you just
No,
get
I
to
want
it.
to talk about the fox that I saw.
Understood.
This is the wildlife that I'm used to being in McKinnon. Very little, like dogs, that's it. I saw a fox at Brighton Beach when I was walking my dog at 8 p.m. Have you seen a fox at Brighton Beach before?
I've seen one in Elwood out the front of my joint. I got out of my car
I
one
was
day.
that scared of this fox. It was staring down at me that I carried my dog into the water and waited for him to go. So here's me at 8 p.m. with my border collie in my arms, standing knee deep in Brighton Beach water, waiting for this fox to go. And then he went, and then I bailed to the car. It was,
my
I
old
don't like
man
foxes.
has seen a fox running one morning and may or may not have, crapped himself. So, if that
Poo jogger.
the poo jogger. So as long as it's not that, I don't mind standing in the water as long as you haven't, Anyway,
All right,
we digress.
we digress. You obviously round one. You want to be playing round one?
No, I
against
don't think
Freo.
so. I think he's pretty keen to sit that one out, Max.
Well, there's a point I'm getting to here.
Yes,
Get
mate.
to it.
That's the aim. Yeah.
That's the aim.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
For those that remember the Sydney game, which was a horrible game for the club, but a really good game for Cade Chandler. 8 tackles, how many touches?
7, I think.
So you're on more tackles than touches, which Angus has never done.
That's not true. I was 9 and 9. I had 9 and 9 in my first game.
Did you?
Equal. I was a world record holder for a week, most tackles on debut.
There's a lot of people coming through the middle. Have you asked Goody if he can potentially do a little bit of centre bounce work?
Oh, there is a lot of midfielders at the moment, so I think I'll just stick to forward.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, well,
So sorry, that was your wind up for that
that was
question.
my one. No,
Gee whiz. Okay, so we're on to the next segment. Who's the guy that's coming in
we're
next?
going to take a break, thank our sponsors.
Oh, please. Well,
And then after,
long list.
for those that are Gus and Gorney podcast lovers,
Yeah.
you'd understand that we've normally would have gone to Ben Gibson for the news now.
Yeah.
But we've saved it because we're going to have a news off.
Yeah. Well, if
so
you understand we're going to the news, you understand why something has to change.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of a difference.
Cade, are you happy to take on Ben in the news?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll give you first up.
Yeah,
because
I
he's
think
the
so.
guest.
Yeah,
and
we have
Ben's
to.
the experienced campaigner, so surely he'd be able to go second. We'll come back straight after thanking these sponsors.
Thanks to our co-principal partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich Insurance. For over 100 years, they've been insuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and they truly love the D's.
Thank you to the sponsors. Welcome back. Ones that weren't mentioned were East End Wine Bar.
East End Wine Bar, of course. We're gonna talk about squash.
Yeah,
Clutch
Barbie
and Co.
onions.
Barbie onions.
No.
No, we
Not.
can't. We can't do it
Arnott's,
yet.
not bad from
Yeah.
C handler.
Understood.
Just quickly, I obviously put an Instagram up to start
Brilliant.
the
This
podcast.
is brilliant. This is the sort of engagement we
We've got a
look for.
question for Gus.
Who from?
It's from Quackers 5.
G'day, Quackers.
Quackers 5. It gives you those things who you both follow. We both follow Big Brenny Brown.
Brenny, friend of the podcast.
Friend of the podcast. Does he feel fit compared to previous pre-seasons, and is he confident to take the field in round 1?
That's a great question. I have been
Answer it to Quackers.
Quackers,
Yep.
mate. You're not going to believe what I've been up to over the last few months. Besides the regulation training we've been involved in, there's a select group of keen Melbourne footballers who engage in a practice I call winning the morning and therefore winning the day. It's a session that goes for about 45 minutes. You go in before everyone else and you get a good sweat on. So I've done about 30 to 40 extra sessions on top of my required load. I'm feeling fit and strong, and Quackers, I'll see you out there sooner rather than later. I'm feeling really good. So thanks very much for your question, mate. We love the fan engagement. Quackers.
Hopefully that is the last Angus Brayshaw fitness-related question for the year, because you'll be playing footy. All right. We don't have the segment anymore in terms of the
No.
the jingle. The
You know,
jingle's
obviously we go too long, so we've cut that jingle. No one really cares.
just
about it
welcome,
anyway.
Benny. Hello, Ben.
Nice, good to be back.
Great to
I guess
have you.
it probably, yeah, some might say. So you might, I don't know. You must be at some point along the line have had a cat in your lineage, because you've got 9 lives. You've wasted a lot of them on this program with some really terrible stuff.
He told me earlier today that you two had a conversation the other
It
day.
wasn't a conversation as such, but for those who watch the podcast, they probably think once the podcast is over, Gus, it's probably all a joke and Gus is friendly. Gus completely ignores me at the club. So last Monday, you and I, Gordy, were talking. You're not as bad. We were having a chat. Gus walks in, doesn't make eye contact, whispers something in your ear, walks out. So I cop that. But then on Friday, so the practice match,
That got to him, that.
Let's keep doing that.
on Friday, I walked through the rooms and he says, "G'day, Gibbo." And I was shocked. It was a moment of weakness, but I think it shows somewhere deep down Gus likes me.
Toe the company line, which is easy at times, but the good bloke in me, I just sometimes have no choice other than to say that. But anyway, you're a cat with 9 lives. You've killed a lot of yourself on this show with some terrible stuff. Today could be a day of reckoning, I think, because of an old-fashioned Anchorman style news off.
So we've got a duel off.
It's a jewel off. We're going to hear 2 sets of news. We're going to give Cade, obviously, because he hasn't stood on our toes yet.
He's
the
an
right to go
inexperienced newsreader. He deserves to go first.
Exactly, he's going to go first. I've actually seen him around the club as well. He's hunting leads. He's got his notebook. He's doing work. So he should have some good stuff. And I think after listening to both newses, is that the plural for news? I don't know. We're going to vote people back for a vote. We're a democracy. The democratic people of the podcast will vote, and
We'll put that to our head of social media.
yeah, the state of social media will sort that out, and hopefully, because we weren't able to kill you off last time, the people didn't want that. But if we
We'll just keep bringing someone in
if
till
we
we do.
present an alternative, maybe then they'll feel better.
I probably would have felt more
Dagger.
comfortable going up against Cade prior to him kicking 3 goals.
Yeah.
that's,
Hopefully that's his first bit of news.
All right, so Cade,
Over to Cade.
take it away.
Thanks, boys. Firstly, I'd just like to touch on the duration of the podcast. We've had some feedback in the last couple of weeks that it's too long. I'd just like to say I played at leaving Casey Fields the other day and it ended driving into my driveway at home. So thanks for that.
That's
It was
the
perfect.
aim.
It was
That's the
absolute
aim.
perfect
So
time.
we just presume that everyone is doing a Melbourne to Casey
But
type drive every day.
Unfortunately, at the moment, fans aren't allowed at Casey, so that could be an issue.
You wait your time. You wait your time.
On lever, birthday Friday.
Wow.
Same day as Hoare, Marty Hoare.
Both the same day,
Same
Friday,
day
yep.
and same birth year.
Well, they're the same age.
Exact same
Interesting.
age.
One's got 2 kids and one's just got a new girlfriend.
girlfriend, yeah,
Two
exactly right.
Aussies.
Now, groundbreaking news. We're on fire with Lever.
Leave her again.
Signed a 3-year extension.
We have never had a contract signing on this. Have we ever had a contract signing?
No, honestly, that's I don't think we ever have. That's a groundbreaking. For
That is great, and that's been nowhere.
And I actually didn't know that either. So that's genuinely that's unbelievable.
So, props to Rick Lever.
Yeah, well done.
Sorry, you actually sent me a text last night. For those who don't know, Cade this is what I'm going to do for the news, and that wasn't on it.
It wasn't.
So that's
That's fresh off the grill.
fresh off the
That
grill.
is-
Can I ask if that's what Good Rope texted you before?
No.
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 No comment.
Continue, please.
Just on fresh off the grill, Charlie Spargo and Tom McDonald looking to further their culinary skills with a barbecue school.
Okay, they got a
play on
barbecue
words,
school.
fresh off the
There is.
grill.
They're looking to get into their brisket.
See how he's played on the
and-
words there?
and spit roasting, which is
Take notes. I noticed.
which is good for us at social functions.
Yeah, correct. And you love your meat as
I
well.
love my meat.
Who
Yes,
doesn't?
exactly.
Who
Who doesn't? And you love.
Benny
that
Benny
also.
Brown doesn't actually.
Big
I just want to stick
yeah.
that one in there. He
Yeah.
definitely
Friend of
does
the
not.
podcast. Now, Gus, on to you. Out of rehab, playing a half
That's Benny Gibson type news.
of football next Monday. Is
That's
this
changed.
true?
That's changed since the start of this podcast. You
I,
weren't
I
sure.
couldn't say it. I didn't want to step on anyone's toes, and I knew one of the people had done some proper research.
half.
Playing
Wow,
a half.
that's exciting.
So I'm back. That's brilliant.
Brayshaw's
boys.
back.
That's where his fitness is at.
That's where
Brayshaw's
my fitness
back.
is
Is
at.
that-
Quackers.
he's
There you go,
Quackers.
Quackers.
There you go.
Crackers 05. Well
This is the
done.
best news. We'll keep going, please.
Touched on before, there was a few girlfriend debuts at our function on
There
Friday.
was, yep.
Got to meet a lot of them. Mitch Brown as well. I'd like to highlight. Met her, ripping girl.
What's her name?
Didn't get introduced,
Okay. Yep.
so that's on Brownie.
Yep. He was the oldest bachelor for a little bit. Now it's Christian Salem would be the oldest bachelor.
Well, watch that space. I've heard some whisperings around the water cooler vis-a-vis Salem, so let's not. Well, exactly. That's why I said
Sorry.
watch this
None of the
space.
S word, thanks.
Okay.
Hunty
Yep.
moved to Blairgowrie.
That's
This
that's great.
newsworthy.
This is for him to become more zen and with nature. He told me yesterday. So
So you actually went out of your way and asked him how he felt about the move to Blairgowrie.
100%.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great.
That's the sort of
great.
stuff. That's new. That's
He
what
said
newsreaders
he
have
said
done
his
for us.
shoulders had never been so
Relaxed.
relaxed in his life.
Oh,
So
we're going to carpool. It's going to be fun.
Wow, did you not know that?
Well, no.
That's news.
James just told
How
me
good's
that.
that? Brilliant.
and from me finally, we
Yeah.
have a new ball sponsor.
Hey, Chandler, if the mic wasn't attached to this structure, this is the time where you would drop it.
Go on, club news.
This is brilliant.
Club news.
Can I butt in here? This is
Sure.
where the podcast is a little bit delicate. We'll leave in the clapping, but potentially what Kay just said might get cut out. Often the news gets cut out because
We're a no-cut podcast.
Well, it might not be released in time for the podcast.
We're a no-cut
you just-
podcast.
You got to be.
We're a no-cut podcast.
We're a no-cut podcast.
You can,
I'd just like to say that was the news that come from Good Ropes. So
Thanks. Thank you, Cade. That was the most informal news.
Wow, that's just, I don't know.
Informal is not the word I was looking for.
I wasn't-
Informative was the word I was looking for.
Sure, and it was.
It was
pretty
slight. It was
informal.
quite informal.
Yeah, slightly. It was pretty off the.
I'd have to say I'm disappointed with Good Rope, obviously a colleague of mine that has passed on news that.
Well, that's
I
just
had.
networking,
disagree with
Ben.
that.
That's
When you
disappointing.
figure out networking, building relationships, which you've
How
haven't
else
yet.
was Cade going to find out club news that wasn't released yet?
Yeah, well, disappointing. Good Rope should
Okay.
watch
Well,
himself
rally.
here.
You've got to rally now.
Right, now, as the
what have you got?
experienced newsreader who broadcast his first game, like Melbourne, Richmond, first AFL game, you broadcasted it. You were the new Bruce McAvaney. What have you got for us?
New Bruce. Yeah, Bruce got the tap on the shoulder after that,
Yeah,
apparently. Yeah, Chandler did take a little bit of my news, so I'll say
Okay,
that is
so
disappointing.
that's all right. We all heard that.
Hibbard back into full training.
No, he's not.
Joel Smith will play a practice match on Monday, so he was out with him. This isn't the best news ever,
You're
but he
rattled.
didn't play. Well, when you get all your news taken, you don't have a lot. So Joel Smith will play. He was
Yeah.
out with hamstring soreness. There is actually a VFL practice match on Monday as well. So
Before or
that's
after?
news. That's before, not at Marvel. That's at Footscray, Wooden Oval. So that's news. I don't have a lot, to be honest.
Are people going to be able to go to both games as a supporter?
Yeah, Footscray one will be behind
Footscray's
closed doors.
closed doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, again, I've got news that I can't really reveal. We will have another train-on player. Can't give you his name, but there will be another train-on player.
That sounds like speculation from
That's
what I see.
cool.
It's
I don't
100%.
know that.
It's 100% fact. It's not speculation.
Well, then, mate, we're a no-cut podcast.
I'm not allowed to give you his name, but there's news that we will have another
Tall-
train-on
tall or
player.
small?
Oh, I can't tell you. I actually haven't checked his height.
Are you just guessing?
No,
think
I've
that
got his
sounds a
name.
lot.
I've got his name
Sounds a lot
on this
like-
list.
It sounds like
Got nothing, and
It's
he's
got
like,
a yes
"Jeez,
word."
Chandler's dropped about 3 bombs on me. I've got to come back with something."
First name starts with K. I'll give you that. So
Okay.
Kate.
What I will say, player sponsorship. After I gave James Jordan a plug in the live stream, he got snapped up. After we gave Nathan Jones a plug last podcast, he got snapped up.
So who do we need to plug?
Aaron Nitschke.
Aaron Nitschke.
He's got no one. We know he won't be playing this year, but
Yep.
visit melbourneexperiences.com.au.
Yep.
And I think someone listening to this podcast should get behind Aaron Nitschke.
Maybe Gus and Gorney could sponsor one. A
Yeah,
nice.
well, when we cash in on the Arnott's and we've got a heap of
little bit of cash flow.
liquid cash, That's something
Another
that-
thing we can talk to Glenn
So
about
giddy
next
up,
week.
people listening, because that won't be around for much longer. Because we're going in for Chase. Good ropes out of the way now. We're going in.
Anything else?
Don't have any other news for you. I've got two things I want to bring up. Firstly, polo. You asked me to wear a polo.
Yeah,
last
you
week.
do look a lot smarter.
And I'm the only one in this year's polo. It's very minor. All the sponsors are the same, but they're slightly different. So just for future podcasts, if you could wear 2021 apparel, that would be great.
So you're the one that's not matching.
So sorry,
I'm
what's
wearing
happening
official
here
gear.
is there's a team uniform which one of us
We all
hasn't
wear
worn.
last year's polo. That is what we wear on this.
The Demon Shop is now open for the fans listening, so they can come in and grab a 2021 polo.
Has the Demon Shop been closed for
It's
a while?
been closed for a while due
you
to
go.
COVID,
Okay.
but it is open, so
Is that news? It's been closed for a while. I mean,
we
interesting.
can pay it. And the other thing, Gus, I liked your
Go at him,
line
come
of
on.
questioning for Cade before about the great story. He put in a lot of hard work over the off-season. That
Yep.
was on the Melbourne website 2 weeks ago. We already ran that. But that's all from me.
Well, unlike this show, no one actually looks at the Melbourne website, so just
Well,
bring
they
that
have
to
to
a wider
find
audience.
this show. They have to find it on the Melbourne, but there's also Spotify, I think.
Yeah, we definitely have a Spotify.
Yeah, and
We're
YouTube. Are we
going
still on
global.
YouTube? Still on YouTube, Richard.
YouTube as well.
All right. Well, I reckon we've gone for a good amount of time, about 40 minutes.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to drag on.
We've got a clear winner in my
Well,
eyes,
I
but
mean-
we're not deciding that.
Yeah, I think the formalities have to take place. We've got to still do the vote, but gee whiz.
But if all goes well, we'll have a jingle for Cade Chandler next week.
I'm already spitballing in my head. Thanks very much for coming on, Cade.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
guys.
you, Ben.
Great to be here.
Good. He's a good sport.
Yeah.
and-
I guess so.
And
That's
thank
something.
you, Angus.
Look
and
forward
thank
to
you,
another
Richo.
conversation in the change room.
Yeah, I'll say good day to you next time, Gibbo.
See you in a fortnight. Maybe next week.
Who knows? Podcast dependent.
Podcast decides.